Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land. We're just in a quick hello from here, epicenter Italy, to you guys, and seeing how everybody is, and seeing what's going on and what's happening. Hey, Bill, how are you, mate? Nick Hutchinson, hello, mate. Tara, hello. A couple of people there from Sydney on the line, and Bill from Belfast. And hey, mate. Hey, Nick. Martin from Scotland. And Joe Smith. Do you like that, Joe? Joe, I know where you live. Joe Smith. I know who you are. Lynette Reed's in there too. Hey, Tara. Hey, buddy. So we've got Italians, we've got Australians, we've got Russians, we've got everybody joining in today. All right, Ralph, how's things? Just a quick hello update and see how everybody out is doing out there. All right, Paul. And all right, Joe Smith, I know where you live. I know who you are. Yeah, there's been obviously, again, many changes overnight, and we, this whole thing changes by the hour, by the day, and we see a lot of stuff going on, and yeah, Nick, exactly what the fuck is going on? I don't know if we know. We don't know. We don't know. I finally took some time. I'll take the mask. I'm inside, so I don't need the mask on. It is apparently it only works for 3 minutes. Apparently so. But the idea behind the mask is that hey, Rosemary, how are you? Rosemary Avalanche is on board, or Rosemary Slade, how are you? The idea behind the mask is that so if you cough or sneeze, your little particles don't kind of head off in very many different directions and end up on countertops and bench tops and stuff like that, or alternatively you don't cough or sneeze on top of anybody else. Hey, Chantel. Yeah, the masks are, worth hanging on to, and don't forget your little hand sanitizers as well. He talks about that and says how good the sanitizers are. So very important to keep that little sanitizer. Wash those hands, as they say, and the hand sanitizer on afterwards, just in case there's any germs from anyone. So hey, Petra, how are you? Tara, he's up in Milan, so we speak a couple of times a day. He's under, of course, lock and key up there, and yeah, I haven't seen him for about 6 weeks now, and yeah, but we talk every day, and he's got Fortnite, so he's happy. Jenny King, I saw, Jenny, you posted yesterday the weather's fantastic the other day, I know, and same here, weather's amazing. Hey, Paulina in Moscow. And it's incredible to think, I keep saying this in some of the videos that I've put up there, that the weather here in Italy is just absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous, it's blue skies and everything, and but it's just incredible to think what's going on around us, that everything's on shutdown. One of the things we've noticed over the past few days is that the ecosystems are changing dramatically. It's incredible. And you kind of got to ask, yourself and wonder at times, what's going on and what's happening. For the first time in years, we've seen dolphins and fish in the canals in Venice. That's unbelievable. That just doesn't happen. We've also seen, the canals, the waterways clearing, and you can see to the bottom. We've also noticed air pollution is changing a lot in various parts of the world because of the less use of cars and transportation means. And it's just Rosemary, if you wrote a story, could you share that with me? That sounds good, a real story. Hey, Manuela in Melbourne, how are you? And that's amazing how some of these, Mother Nature is changing as well. And I got a really, really interesting email the other day about reset. And it's kind of, look, no matter what you want to believe in or don't want to believe in, it's completely up to you. But I read this email and I thought, wow, this is really interesting. Someone had also posted yesterday, Kate in Kansas had mentioned about, maybe this is a great way for people to reconnect with each other, the reality of connection. Hey, Anne. Hey, Ricky. The reality of connecting back with each other again, and this is something that we just have to go through in order to appreciate what we had or could have, and the reality of what we can have instead of everything that is current in our lives. But some great topics being spoken about, and some great things, been sent out to us. Of course, there's all the conspiracy theories and everything all about this, and you can't dispel anything because this virus has really taken us, by surprise, and yeah, really, really well and truly, totally, annihilated us and everything around us. Hey Lotus, hey Doe, the hairdressers are keeping going. It's funny, Dorothy's on there. My partner Lynette, she was sending me this morning something that she had read, is that we're now going to see the real color of everybody's hair, because where we are here in Italy, of course, the hairdressers are not working, and of course it's everybody's greys and real colors are going to start coming out. So there'll be plenty of in Italy. Certainly the hairdressers are going to be very, very busy at the end of all this, because there's going to be a lot of people wanting to get their the grey and other colors covered up, so, but it's I'll read a couple of little pieces out of this email. It's really interesting that this thing, what if the virus is here to help us? And this is the strangest thing to think about, but the reality is, with bad there's always good, and you've got to, unfortunately things take a bit of a turn and a twist. Hey Johnny McGarty, how are you, mate? Things take a bit of a twist and turn in order for us to get back to being better people, and we see through this now, whilst of course there's the people that are out there pulling everything off the shelf and filling up their shopping trolleys and stuff like that, but we do see the reconnection with family and community. All right, Jace up in Brisbane, travel is now being reduced. There was a a flurry of travel to get everybody back home to their countries of back to their countries of where they were from, and but it's interesting, that families are reconnecting and bonding. People are getting back home. People are, sort of, you're feeling that family warmth and family love and things like that happening definitely much more. And parts of China are seeing blue skies and clouds for the first time, with the factories being closed down. Hey Belinda, how are you? Thank you for joining. Thank you for being there. Jace, again in Brisbane, thanks, mate. I appreciate everybody logging in, having a little look and a little watch. Hey Mags, how are you? So, working from home rather than commuting, less pollution, more personal time. This is interesting. And some parts of the world had already started doing the 4-day week, which was really interesting. So to see people working from home and being able to do business from home rather than all of this traveling. Of course, there has to be business to be done, because we're now seeing all these businesses closed down, and that doesn't help. But maybe this is some shape or form of way of telling us to slow down. Hey Emily up in Scotland, and Jenny in Australia. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. Reconnection with family, a reset economically, the working poor, the lack of healthcare access for over 30 million in the US, the need for paid sick leave. How hard does one have to really work to be able to survive, and to have an outside life? So it's a very, very interesting, things. Washing our hands, how did that become a new thing that we needed to remember? Isn't that really funny? Yeah, we all know how to wash our hands, but how often do we really wash our hands? Hey Liz in Belfast, Mags in Belfast, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining this little live broadcast on Facebook. So there's a lot of really good things. I'll happily, if anybody wants this email, I'll happily send it out to you. I'm sure many of you have it. Just on Facebook, private PM me your email addresses, and I'll happily send this out. But it's actually really, really interesting reading this. And one of the key things that come out, it's a remembrance of what it means to be connected, humane, living a simpler life, to be less impact and more kind to our environment. Hey Linda, hey Tony down there in Australia. It's interesting, we see the birds out here on the river, and the ducks and the swans and the seagulls and the pigeons and whatever, but they're all flying around happy as, because nobody's annoying them anymore. They actually look happier. They really do look happier, because they have their environment back again, and it's kind of really interesting, looking at all this. And the whole reconnection thing, reconnecting with the environment and allowing the environment to breathe. There's less pollution, there's less, people running around on the streets, and that whole connection with family, and it's incredible. It's incredible, And there you go. Jason just said, take notice of how much you wash your hands makes you realize how often you touch your face, which is very, very true. Hey, Paula, thanks for being there. You know, it's interesting. I was watching somebody from Belfast had posted me something this morning of this. I assume he's a professor at universities from Lurgan in Northern Ireland, but he had some great hints and tips. He just really give a layman's term about how this coronavirus is working, how it spreads, like any virus basically, you know, through saliva, you know, being spat or anything out of your mouth, and how it goes inside other people's bodies and sits on countertops and gets picked up. And yeah, it's all about touching your hands, touching your ear and your nose and stuff like that. So stop picking your nose, everybody, and stop putting your fingers in your, stop sucking your thumbs, all of you. Hey Colette, how are you? And Tara's just saying she listened to him today. He's great. He was really, he was fantastic, that guy. The explanation was really good layman term explanation, and I think it was an ideal. Again, everybody should watch it. It's out there on Facebook like everything else is at the moment, you know. So, you know, Belinda's just asking, what are the key messages for us Australians? Aussies, mate. G'day, mate. We're all bracing for the worst. You know, I put another shrimp in the barbie, I think's the correct answer for that, mate. Belinda, and for any Aussies watching, you know, I'm hoping by some shape or form that this doesn't get to Australia and get to the UK and the rest of America like it did here in Europe, and especially in Italy. And I just hope there's some shape or form of roll-off point very, very soon where we can get things back on track. One of the hard parts with everything that's happening is, you know, we were told about it. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. We watched it on television evolve from 11 people to 20 people to 100 people to 500 people, and it was just this massive snowball effect that just kept getting bigger and bigger very, very quickly. So in 3 weeks we've seen 3 and a bit weeks we've seen it go from 11 people to you know, over 36,000 here in Italy at the moment. Hey Olivia, how are you? Hey Tracy, how are you? I was a DJ at Tracy Roberts' wedding. that was a lot of fun, actually. I enjoyed that. So in Australia, I would say that, you know, I don't, you know, these videos are not, these broadcasts are not about panicking anybody or telling anybody to go out and buy all this and get all this, and because we've already seen that happen. You have to be kind to everybody. You have to be, you know, mindful of everybody, and that's the one thing. You know, Belinda, the bushfires were a big thing for Australia, and everybody bonded together. I'm reading a lot of comments from people in Australia now saying that, you know, bushfires we bonded, coronavirus we're now, it's every man for themselves. Olivia, do you have the dice and can you roll them? That's my question to you. Time here, Jason, is midday, almost about midday. So I think, I don't know, 9 hours, 10 hours with you or something, 10 hours, something out there. But it's important to be kind to everybody. It's important to be mindful that everybody else, other people exists. And unfortunately, you cannot stop the fact that people are going to rush out and buy everything. Some people here in Italy did that as well. But for the most part, the Italians have been very mindful and cautious and careful about everything that they've been doing. And it's been really, really good. Even with everything closed, the shops, everything's shut here. Pharmacies are open, grocery stores are open, and that's pretty much the height of you being allowed outside to go and do stuff. But look, Belinda, you know what? Get a little bit of hand sanitizer in, get a few masks in, get some toilet paper in, you know, but be mindful of other people need to get it. I was saying yesterday too, and also when you're at the supermarket getting some supplies or whatever, bear in mind that receipts are great for toilet paper as well. So if you can't get any toilet paper, keep your supermarket receipts because they work really, really well. They're like 4 or 5 ply rolls together as opposed to 2, but they work, they do work. Look at the length of that there. Isn't that great? That's about 2 days worth of toilet paper sitting right there. So, but you know, you do have to be cautious, Belinda, but this is, you know, and you got to take the precautions, unfortunately, now that are in place to stop it because it's spreading. You know, there's nothing we can do about it. You know, it's part. We can do our part for it to help it from spreading, but it is coming. And hey, Hillary, welcome. Thank you. All right, Sparky. All right, who else in there? Hey, Carla, Damien. Hello, mate. Yeah, Belinda, the reality is that it's going to happen, and as I said, they're putting all of these the wheels in motion, the precautions in motion to try and prevent it from spreading, and that's what's been important, is that to try and prevent the spread of it. So people need to stay indoors, and people need to be mindful that that's by going out, not wearing a mask, if you cough, if you sneeze onto a surface or on top of someone, and someone just happens to put their hand on it without a protective or a glove on, some of those latex or rubber gloves, put their hand on it and then just touch their face or whatever, that's how it's a pretty, all right, Ian, Hannah, Kelly, welcome, thank you for joining in, appreciate it. But it's very important just to be mindful of how this virus spreads. Like any flu, all flus spread, and bear in mind all the regular flus are still out there doing their bit, as well. But then we have this new one, which is a little bit more potent, a little bit more difficult because we don't have a treatment for it, and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, I mean, when you say how do you prepare, it's a tough one, because nobody was really prepared here. But everybody was mindful of everybody here, and which I think has been a fantastic thing. And whilst the Italian health system is now struggling very, very badly, and of course we don't, there's not enough ICU beds to treat people. There's been talk about the over 80s not being able to get health care, and all of that sort of stuff. It's been very difficult. I want to say too that hey Hannah, how are you? It's Calla Kirkpatrick who's on the feed here. Everybody, if you want some great offers on champagne, because it's a great time to have some champagne, you're going to be locked up at home. Please look out for the Champagne Dame, or look out for Emperor Champagne. They're based in Victoria, in Melbourne, Victoria. Please get in touch. She's got some great deals to help people through the coronavirus issues, because if you're going to be indoor, you may as well drink some great champagne. Please contact her, the Champagne Dame, on social media, or Emperor Champagne is the name of her company. Emperor, I'm not sure it's Emperor Champagne, but if you post it up there, Kella, they'll all see it. But she's got some great offers on some fantastic champagnes at the moment, so please get in touch with her and her company, and I'm sure they'll be happy to ship and get those products to you very quickly, because everybody needs a drink of champagne. Everybody needs it. Hey, yeah, she's also just saying there, did you see the beach in Bondi today? Yeah, we watching CNN and some other news gatherings, they do a lot of little bits from around the world, and yeah, we see a lot of what's going on, and a lot of even in Florida, spring break, people are out there drinking themselves senseless in spring break in the US, and they don't care. They're just not caring. So they're all down there in Miami getting carried away and having a lot of fun and drinking, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But people do really need to, honest to God, I can't tell you, you have to take this seriously. Italy's been hit very, very hard, and that's just one of those things. And it's rolling out into France and Spain and Germany and everywhere else across Europe. But it's one of the things that if you don't take the precautions now, then in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, as it starts to grow and spread. That's why these countries, Australia, America, that's why everybody's trying to take precautions now, because to try and sustain the spread of it. That's what's important. That's what everybody has to realize. America's got caught with their pants down. Sorry to say this, but when you watch a lot of I'm sure you've seen a lot of the stuff with Trump. He 4 weeks ago, Trump was calling it a Democratic ploy against him. Really? 4 weeks ago he was shrugging it off. It's just another flu. Yeah, we've got it under control. It'll be all finished within 3 days. And now they're in a state of panic. They're a disaster. I just saw in the news this morning that 4 people from the one family in New Jersey have died from coronavirus. 4 people have died from coronavirus in the same family. That's terrible. That's crazy. 4 people. But Trump got caught with his pants down. I'm sure it won't be the first and last time. But he really has tried to backpedal, and he's, even now when you watch some of his press gatherings, there's a doctor on there that's very, very knowledgeable that stands next to Trump and talks, and he's certainly now going against what Trump says. Trump gets up and says ABC, Sesame Street, and the doctor gets up and says, I think you need to think a wee bit differently, Mr. President. There's a little bit more going on to this. It's not Sesame Street, you know. It's something a wee bit more, you know. So anyway, Ian McManus shows you wants to see my tats. There you go, in. You want to see the other ones? Jonesy, how are you? Jonesy, yes, we serious checks at the airport to be able to return from overseas. Yeah, they when I got back, just over 3 weeks ago, not only been traveling Europe, we had guys in the hazmat suits, and they were checking our temperatures as we got off. All flights were getting checked 4 or 5 weeks ago, probably. All flights were getting checked, and they were there taking everybody's temperature, no matter where you were coming from. They took your temperature and either pulled you aside if the meters showed up. So yeah, they were taking precautions 4 or 5 weeks ago. They knew this was coming, and they were smart and serious about it all. And so, you know, they did the right things. The Italians really did their best and are still continuing to do their best. Their systems and services are now just completely overwrought. And, you know, we see that China has got control of it, and Korea and everything have now nipped this in the bud. We're probably a couple of weeks, I'd have to say, here in Italy, we're a couple of weeks behind China, what they've gone through, but our numbers have now superseded their numbers of deaths, and which is very, very interesting. I read an amazing article last night, Lynette and I read it, that how coronavirus came to Italy, because we knew but we didn't know, and it was just one person that, you know, there was an initial talk about some guy from Pakistan had brought it, but that was dismayed. That was just social media hearsay. But the true virus was that there was a Chinese couple had landed in Rome on holiday, and there was a guy in Milan had a meeting in China and came back, and he was patient zero. They were referring to him as patient zero, and they couldn't locate him, and they still haven't got a definitive answer as to who patient zero might be. But this is the most likely explanation they have, is how this spread. This just came to Italy from potentially one person having been in China, had their meetings, and came back. And wow. And there was one particular town outside Milan where the virus started to spread quite rapidly, because this person had interactions with other people. Milan is the commercial center of business in Italy, so you might find a lot of companies based, like Gucci and Prada, and you know, Diesel and Benetton, etc. They are based in various areas around the country, but all their commercial offices, the business dealings, are all done in Milan, and that's why Milan has been the epicenter of this. That's the key where this business, the business center of Italy, basically. So, hey Mary, how are you? Thanks for good chatting earlier on, Mary, and again, many years of brilliant service. Well done, mate. And I think Jane Rosbeck summed it up on her post on your feed. I think Jane said it really well, and absolutely brilliant. 30 odd years of brilliant services and fantastic stuff. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Well done, mate. Yeah, Belinda, we're okay. We're here. We're fine. We don't have any symptoms. We're keeping ourselves to ourselves. We haven't seen our friends for, going on 10 days now. We haven't, we've been out to we're allowed out intermittently to get to the grocery store or get to the pharmacy, which we've been doing, and that's it. That's about the height of it. You have to fill in a form. You got to take your ID with you. You've got to put a little mask on, and you've got to walk up to the shops. And anybody sees me like this, and look, I'm even in shorts today as well. So anybody sees me like this will think, what is that guy doing? Why does he look so stupid? But that's what you got to do. So a lot of people are walking around without their masks on and considering themselves coronavirus free or coronavirus proof, but not the case. Everybody, you can carry this bloody thing and not even know about it. That's the thing. It's the hard thing. No, well, again, you're asking work. Okay, no. I mean, the big thing globally now is work is slowing down, completely slowing down. It's dead stop here in Italy. People are genuinely worried and concerned because there are changes coming, and you have to wonder how companies can, sustain the loss of income. because with the America and the UK and the rest of Europe closing down, it's a very serious thing. The interesting thing, and with the travel industry and everything, which unfortunately has been very badly hit, and for those of you that don't know, that's the Leeds United hat. Whilst we go through this period of closure and everything, it then is going to take time for the recovery period. So the second it's finished, people aren't just going to hop on planes again and book hotels. That's not going to be how it is. It's going to take time to get those planes back in the air, to get all the hotels back open again and the infrastructure back. There was many of you that are on here now know the Crafty Hound or Robbie Cahoons or the Sportsmans. Well, they closed yesterday, and in line with what Johnson said, St. Patrick's Day in Belfast, and they had nobody in the pub, nobody on St. Patrick's Day. That should have been busy. People are just having a sociable drink and everything, but they had nobody. So they made the decision to close because there's just nobody around, and that was a very tough decision to have to make. But they made it, and it unfortunately came with 27 people having to be unemployed, part-time and full-time staff. So very, very difficult, very, very difficult. And again, I go back to the point I was saying yesterday. A lot of the responsibility does lie with the governments that haven't reacted properly and ethically enough to what's been going on in other parts of the world. A lot of governments haven't. Yes, you got to close systems down. You got to, consolidate people, and you got to put people back in the house, and you got to keep them locked, not per se locked up per se, but you got to keep them indoors to avoid the spreading of this virus. But in saying that, it affects business and everything like that. There's got to be plans in place to help the people as well while this passes, and this can pass pretty quickly if all the right precautions are taken. But as we've seen, the world has not taken the right precautions. So, all right, Keith, how are you, mate? Hope well. Rob, nice to see you on here. There we go, emperorchampagneItis.com.au. So Carla has just posted it up. Guys, it's like I said, everybody needs champagne. Get on there, order some champagne at some great prices, And she's a diamond, that girl too. She'll look after you. And her daughter is the coolest dude in the world. Claudio, ciao. Keith, how are you? Carly, how are you today? I got a message from your mum earlier and everything. So Carly, by the way, works in medical services or in the hospitals. She's based at the Royal Victoria Hospital in Belfast, and she is part of the coronavirus unit down there. So a lot of bits and pieces happening down there. People obviously wanting tests, and of course people with symptoms getting tested, etc. So there's a lot of stuff going on happening down there. So, but yeah, Carly, thank you for everything you're doing for all the people over there, as much as you can do, and working the hours that you're working, because it's certainly a lot of people. And I guess what the reaction from people too is that people become very paranoid and panic about everything. Hence why everybody's rushing out to buy toilet paper and things and pasta and stuff. And that's why the video going around of the guy from Northern Ireland, the professor, that talks about why are people rushing out to buy processed foods that don't have any vitamins in them when you need to look after your body. It's a very, very important video, very, very good video to watch actually. And people, whilst they're out panic buying food, people are also panicking about wanting to get tested. Do I have it? Do I have it? What is it? How do I know if I got it? And I think people are, not helping themselves or helping any services or anything else by also panicking, wondering if they have it or don't have it. So it's that's an important thing as well that people need to be mindful and cautious of, So, hey Mark, how are you, mate? Corey in Australia. Hope you're well up there in Vegas, matey. Hey Emer, how are you? Alba in Spain. Pete Adard, mate. Did the Roosters play tonight? What's the score? I must check and see if I believe the NRL was still being played tonight. I'm not 100% on that, but I do believe the NRL was still getting games played tonight. So let's see if the Bunnies. Ooh, the Bulldogs lost to the Cowboys, so the Cowboys get their first one of the season, 24-16. The Broncos beat the Rabbitohs. Damn you Broncos! This could be a big season if the Broncos might be bouncing back. And the Dragons lost to the Panthers. That's Panthers 2 from 2, eh? And I see that the Roosters are playing the Manly tomorrow. And but the Rabbitohs lost tonight. Oh man, didn't want that to happen. Hey Mike, how are you, mate? Hope you're well. Kirsten, how are you? Les, welcome on board. Thank you for being there. Marie, down in Australia. Jared Ryan, down in Australia. Tony Smith. Tony Smith's daughter, by the way, is playing touch footy, and she's becoming a real hit on the touch footy platform and getting a bit of coverage there. And I was watching some footage Tony posted the other day, so well done her, mate. I think is it Kate, I'm going to say? I can't remember her name now off the top, sorry. But well done her, doing a great job. Renee, how are you? Debs, how are you? Julian, thanks mate for looking in. Brett, how are you buddy down there in Sydney? Tony Smith is saying hello to Bill Diagos. Hey Billy, is Billy in here? Keith, am I singing on the balcony? Nessun dorma. I don't think anybody wants to hear my voice, but the balcony is just over here to my side. Let's see if it works. Hang on, I'll turn the phone around. Hang on a second, look. Here we go. Just for you all out there. Let's see if anybody... You hear my singing? Nessun dorma. There's a lady walked past with a dog and she just thought I was a bit... Anyway, that was because Keith Clarkson requested that there for me to sing out in the balcony. I'm not sure if it worked or not, but anyway. So that was as much as I can do. You can hear a dog barking. There was a dog just walked past there with that lady, and probably my singing didn't help. David, how are you, mate? John O'Dwyer there. John from Lambeg, lives in Brisbane. John's had some great updates on some of the things behind the scenes of the virus, which has been great. John, I appreciate your messages and everything, and the updates has been great. Keith's just talking about here in Australia. Keith's from the UK and originally, but lives down in Sydney. He's just saying no events here, no income till early September. AVE and micro hair on skeleton staff. Wow. So guys, yeah, like, I mean, reading some of these posts, like the events industry, you know, this happened at 9/11. This happened when there's a financial crisis. The events, people still need to go out and buy groceries and shop and do things. But the events industry is one of the hardest hit industries in the world globally. And it's very, very sad to see it happen, you know, because the first thing companies and people do is cancel their events, their shows, because they're not required. They just cancel it. And I feel for a lot of people in the events industry. It's just, it's very, very difficult. And today there was an announcement made in Sydney that Staging Rentals, a very reputable and amazing company run by Mary and Dave, and have closed up shop in Sydney. And you know, for many of us that have had a relationship with that company over the years, they've been an amazing asset to the events industry. They've been incredible, but they made a decision to close. The fact that they have been through many issues before, and they made a fact that today so their Melbourne office is still open and active and still busy, but their Sydney office will now be closing, which is you know, that Mary and Dave made the right decision for their business and for the people. So I commend them for many years of service, you know. I've still got that shit on my head, David. Yes, because there's only one Leeds United. There's only one United, and it's Leeds. Lotus is saying here, Boris is a Trump. I didn't take this seriously. Feel like Northern Ireland. Yeah. Lotus, he's just, look at his hair, look at his suntan's changing. He's going to have orange skin and you know, stupid hair. What do you do? You know, it's so hard to watch Boris Johnson be so, you know, you got to applaud the industry and sport for taking the stance to cancel events, stop things and close down and start trying to, you know, contain this virus or the spread of the virus. But yet the government are still saying, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, you're still able to go to the pub, or not. Your schools were still on until recently, but people didn't send their kids to school because, you know, in one hand they're cancelling, you know, gatherings of over 500 people, and yet you can still go to school. But hang on, that doesn't make any sense. Go figure, you know. But yet they got voted into power. They're the people, you know. Hey Monica, how are you? Mum left. Okay, here's Monica. Monica's from New Jersey. She's a Jersey girl, but she lives in the UK, lived here in Italy. Some really good news from Rimini. A friend of mine's mum left hospital yesterday and is now at home with her family. Even better if you consider that she's over 70. So that's a really good, you know, thing as well. And Monica, was she in hospital for coronavirus reasons, or was she in hospital for other reasons? But that would be interesting. That's good news. Hey Doc, how are you? B down there in Melbourne. how are you? B, again, originally from the UK. She's down there in, living down there in Oz. Lotus is saying here, my sister's a healthcare worker and for the NHS, and they are in disbelief at how laid back everyone in Northern Ireland is. Yeah, this is something, Lotus, it's amazing. Like, I speak to a lot of my friends on Facebook daily or on social media, and yeah, I gotta say, like, it's just, I don't understand sometimes, you know, how and why, you know, this can be the way it is, you know. It's really hard. It's to understand. You know, yeah, it defies logic at times why people are taking it. So, like, people have initially rushed out and bought a ton of toilet paper, a ton of pasta, a ton of tinned foods, put it all at home in the house, and then they're not taking the precautionary measures to avoid the spread of the virus. They think by going out and having bought toilet paper and tinned food, they're going to survive. Yeah, we won't get it, but you have to take those measures. Little masks, little hand sanitizers, AirPods, and again, if you run out of toilet paper, supermarket receipts. But yeah, no, people have been, I think, very lackadaisy in many ways. They've gone out, stocked up on the food, and think that's it, we're sorted, we're going to be okay. But it's not about that. You can pick the virus up in other ways and other means, so that people aren't being cautious enough, you know, very, very true. Yes, Tony, I know the Broncos beat the Rabbitohs. I'm not high. I just saw the results a few minutes ago, and I'm like, oh, damn it, I can't believe they went down. Oh well, David Murray, right, no, I will not ignore you. And Emily, sorry, Tony Smith's daughter is called Emily. She's playing touch rugby professionally, and in the women's league. And I said Tony's been posting some great stuff about her. So she's a tall, skinny girl, very athletic, but man, she's fast and she can sweep in there. And she's been doing some great things for women in rugby league and touch rugby. So it's fantastic. Well done, Emily. Hey Louise, how are you? And Tony Smith, I wish Tony, 430-433-42 and 1. That was the Three Tenors code for the Jose Carreras Pavarotti Domingo album. So yeah, I wish I could be just like them and sell as many albums. Maybe I can. Mario, how are you, mate, down there in Melbourne? Yeah, so Dave Murray's is saying 150. Dave Murray basically is a truck driver, does a lot of concerts and shows and everything, drives around all of Europe, trucking all that stuff around. So he's just saying that the 150 drivers are laid off in their work. It's very sad to see, you know, very unfortunate time. Justine McVeigh, thank you for joining us, Justine. Yeah, now David saying here, we've been told that there will be no music going down before the end of May. That's all concerts, touring, everything, you know, so end of May. Yeah, I mean, it's just fucked, to be honest with you, but it's what's happened. And it's crazy to even think that is crazy. Michael Irwin is on there. Hello, Mickey. Morning, mate. He's just saying he's just in from the chemist and it's getting nasty out there. Mickey, I'm sure there's longer queues of people than what there normally are. They get anything and everything that they can to protect themselves. All right, Troy, on the Gold Coast there in Australia. Hello, mate. Keith's just saying again, replying to David. The clients aren't scheduling anything before September. Touring acts are saying December, January. Yeah, you know, the thing is that, again, what I was saying earlier, you know, all of the shutdown and close down, then there's the whole reorganization of everything again. So it's not just a matter of that when, oh yeah, we're virus free and you can start business again. There's a whole structure that has to be brought back into place to reorganize and reschedule everything. And again, checking with venues and people and travel and everything like that. And it's going to take a bit of time for this to all get back into being again, you know. So yeah, difficult times. Hey Jason, how are you? Crown Casino still open and they get 40,000 people through their doors. Thanks, Mario. Yeah, I mean, people will flock to the casino. Probably more people will flock to the casino because they'll think, let's just go out one last time, or let's just go out. That's what's going to happen, you know, and that's per day. Yeah, 40,000 people a day, and probably in these periods plus times. Monique was just saying that lady was released from hospital in Rimini, which is on the east coast of Italy. Was in her 70s. She had corona. She was in there for coronavirus, but she's now been all said she can go home, which is brilliant, and that's really good news, and to be with her family, you know. Now, David also, as well as trucking out there for concerts and tours, David also he also has a fish and chip shop, and yeah, so it's between a rock and a hard place. And if Boris, if the decision is made in the UK to shut everything down, yeah, it's gonna be very, very difficult times and very hard times for everything. So I do sympathise with everybody, on that. I just hope it picks up. Ryan Owens, how are you, mate? Ryan's originally from Belfast there, but lives down in Oz. And Ryan's a lawyer now, I think. If anybody needs a good lawyer, Ryan Owens is the man. He's on there. Send him a message, get him to send you. Ryan, what's your email address? People might need lawyers in Australia. They can talk to you. No income coming in. David, that's a really good point, and that is a very valid point. With that whole recovery period, the fact is that yes, many small businesses won't have an income over the next few months, and then how are they expected to reopen and deliver a service again when there's been no income in these months? That's a tough question. That's a tough thing for people to have to go through, and that's a really interesting thing to say. That's the hard part, and exactly, there's no income for the next 3-4 months, and then you're meant, like I said, you just won't be able to reopen. It'll be a reopen and a recovery period on top of that. So anybody that can get out there now, David, why don't you post on there, please, the name of the shop, and I'll do a post later as well. But give me the name of the shop on there, and I'll post it. Get everybody to get out, buy fish and chips this weekend from David's shop up there in Middlesbrough. Get out there and get it bought as quickly as possible. Hey Roisin, how are you? Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms, A4. Tony, I can't remember Dire Straits. I remember 841970, which was the best of Van Morrison. I can't remember. Was Dire Straits a 519 number? I can't remember. God, I wish I could remember. I remember so many different others, and but I think I remember Leonard Bernstein's West Side Story as well. I'm trying to think. I remember some of them just stick with you, which is really amazing. Hey Laura, up there in Michigan, how are you? I hope you're well, and I suppose starting to get into this lockdown mode in the US, with what's going on. Bushy, sorry I didn't answer your call last night. I literally was having dinner and stuff like that, and I'd made an agreement not to be on too much last night, but I'm sorry, but we can talk a wee bit later on if you want. But I hope you're well down there. Have you got much work going on? Are things quiet? Is it a good time to be out there and doing the things that you want to do and catch up with those things, or what's happening with all the camera work down there in Sydney? Yeah, as David said, like it's scary and stressful. This is the thing, what's really interesting in saying that, for the areas that haven't shut down yet, everybody's still kind of in this fear factor, and worry factor as well. We're in the worry factor. We're shut down, we're under lockdown. We're not able to do certain things, so we know what that's like. We're living that at the moment here. But there's the stressful factor of when it all finishes and coming out of it, and the fact is that bills still have to be paid, and everything still has to be paid. So, we're in the same boat as everybody else. We're panicked and worried about everything else that's going on behind us. So there's a real worry and fear about that. What's going on there. I'm going to play a song in the background here. I don't know if anybody can hear that. I'm going to play a-ha, Take On Me while I talk. There we go. There's my library back up. There we go. So I'm just going to play silly music songs while I'm talking here as well. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but anyway, you can hear it. So yeah, David, it's it is very worrying, and that's the thing, it's without being on lockdown now, yeah, you guys still have to go through with what's coming, and then there's the whole aftermath of it, the stressful period. So, we all we can do is send positive vibes out to the universe and pray and hope that everything's going to be okay for everybody. Hey Riley, there in Hutchinson, Kansas, how are you, buddy? Sherry in Oz. Sherry, how are you recovering from everything? Are you okay? Are you home? what's going on? What's your latest update? You weren't suffering from the coronavirus, but you were in hospital for an operation. So I'm hoping everything's okay. I'm hoping you're back at home with husband and the kids. But yeah, tell us what's going on. Hey Lenka, how are you in Slovakia? Obviously Slovakia is also under lock and key now as well, a lockdown. And so Lenka and her partner have been in the apartment. They cleaned it the other day. It's nice and clean, and they're now sitting on the little balcony having their breakfast. Lucky them. Hopefully everything stays safe in Slovakia as well. Michael's just saying 100% I had to get a new phone before they have a lockdown on laptop now. People are just in denial. Yeah, you know, Michael, that's a thing. You know, you taught your patients and how to queue and do without relax. Yeah, it's funny, Michael. You know, that's the thing. You've got that understanding, which is great, and being able to understand patients and service and things like this happening. And that's really good, but yeah, people are in denial. Mate, a lot of our friends are still in denial or have been in denial, and we've noticed them change over the past week. We've noticed their comments starting to evolve and change and say a little bit more. But yeah, a lot of people that we all know all over the world have been in denial, you know, so that's it. Right. David Murray's posted, it's Basildon's Fish Bar in Stocksley in North Yorkshire. Please get out there and buy fish and chips. I will do a post later and for champagne in Australia, for fish and chips in North Yorkshire. Guys, get your arses out there. Buy fish and chips from David's shop. They're the best in North Yorkshire. And buy your champagne from Cala, and anybody else wants to offer any services, you're more than welcome to post on my timeline, and I'll share them. And in fact, actually, if anybody has services, please send me the post, the name, whether you PM it to me or you post it on my timeline, and I'll happily share it, please, just to help the help industry turnover. Not too bad, Bushy, thanks. And but you keep your little videos coming because I love them when you send them to me, mate. You know. No work. Yeah. Again, it's there's Bushy. Saying, you know, again for camera work, he's died. You know, things are not working at all down there. You know, there's no work. Laura, thank you for the thought. Really appreciate it. And of course, you and the little guy are going to be going under lock and keys lockdown soon. How's things in Michigan? Are people again panicking? I see a lot of stuff on CNN. California. It's interesting. California just announced a lockdown, but they are still allowing people out to walk, to jog, to walk the dog, to go to the shop. So it's not a real full lockdown, but there's still plenty of opportunity there to be spreading this virus with people that may or may not have it. And yeah, it's very difficult. The best thing you can do, guys, is stay home. That's the best thing you can do, you know, and only go out with a mask on, and have your hand sanitizer when you come home. Go out, do those things you need to do, and get straight back again, you know. So that's the best thing you can do. Hey, Luis in Brazil is watching. And Keith, you're heading up to Uwe's next weekend with Robinson. Come party, Bushy. Where is Uwe living these days? Hey Rose, how are you? But as Bushy said, yeah, it's you know, aside from things, if you've got some other stuff to work on, it's a great time to go and do some other things that you wanted to do for a long time but haven't been able to. So Bushy's working on his features and some long form docos and stuff, which is good. So that's good. It's hard on one side and stressful on one side, but on the other side, like you said, Bushy, you're working on a few things that you would never get any other time to work on. So that's a good sign, you know, that you're able to get a few things done and catch up. Jason Strange, how are you, mate? Brian Sterling. Can everybody hear me? Brian Sterling says no sound. Are you hearing me, Brian? Are you in Glasgow or Ibiza? Brian, where are you? You're probably down in Ibiza, knowing you. But you may not have been able to get there yet. But hopefully you're well and safe and staying okay. And again, as this shitty thing spreads around, mate, just take care of yourself. But mate, Tony Smith's asking how long have we been in lockdown. Tony, we've been in lockdown here about 10 days. 10 days now, yeah. 8 days, 10 days, something like that. Be around that time. You kind of lose track of the day. You forget. You lose track of what day it is. And hang on, what I'll do, Tony, is I'll look at my stomach because we haven't been able to go out and walk or do any exercises. So unfortunately, lockdown is in there at the moment. You know, that's what happens. We've been eating and not doing much exercise, and you know, and Although we've been reading the Kama Sutra books and learning all the nice ways about going upside, downside, inside, right side, but doesn't help with the exercise, you know. I'm looking at my partner over there and she's not looking back as I'm talking about Kama Sutra. She's not looking back. She is nice with a smile. So about 8 to 10 days, Tony. Paula Campbell, how are you? Paula. Hey, Roy in Carolina, South Carolina. No, North Carolina, sorry, Roy. And Paula, how are you? Hope you're well. And what's going on, Paula? Is everything shut down now in Northern Ireland? The film side of things, is everything just closed? Production is all just shut down? You know, what's the scoop there? And Michael has just poured himself a cider at 11:34. That's a good idea. Any chance of a wine? A wine would be great. It's a lovely idea. A cider, I'd love it. I haven't had cider actually for ages, and just love my wines these days, you know. Hey Joanne, how are you? Hope you're well. Gino, is that where he's living? Tea Gardens. Uwe's living in Tea Gardens. What's he doing up there? Wow, brilliant. Fair play to him. Hawk's Nest, aye. What's he doing living up there? Is he still in AV? Is he still what's he doing? That's great. I haven't seen Uwe for years. I know. Remember Tea Gardens, Hawk's Nest, but wow, that's good. God bless him. Good on him for being up there. How am I mentally, Bushy? Mad. Mentally, I'm crazy. Still mad. But mentally, I think, you know, there's been a little bit of cabin fever has set in. You do find after 10 days, when you're able to get out and do things, it's great. But after 10 days, it's a wee bit difficult at times. You know, it's kind of like you find yourself, you know. But it's just, you know, we're very fortunate that we have windows and we have a balcony and our little Julietta's that we can open and look out and see outside. We're very lucky. We're very lucky. I was just saying to Lynette this morning, imagine if we weren't allowed to open the windows. Imagine if we couldn't physically look outside or be outside. That would be like devastating if we couldn't do that. So thankfully we can do that, you know. Hi Bianca, how are you? It's been many years since, Bianca, I was just watching the videos the other day of Maxwell Smart that we'd shot for Schwarzkopf, and it was so funny. I was just doing some video cleaning up hard drives, and the videos were, so they were great times, great videos that we made. I like those a lot. Thanks Nick, appreciate it. You too, mate. Stay safe out there. Like I said many times, and I'll keep saying it, I hope what's happened here doesn't get to you guys, but please do take precautions in order to avoid it happening and getting it to this level. That's what's important, so please do that. Hey Viviana, how are you? I assume you're in Vicenza. He's off the grid. Yeah, he is indeed. He's still touring Corporate Roadshow. Oh, okay. Fair play to him. Fair play. Good man for being up there, you know. Hey, Alex, how are you, buddy? Hope you're well. Gary Higginson, how are you, mate? I'm glad. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it. Keep posting good therapy. I'm happy to do these, you know, and if there's any, you know, way we can just relax, help people relax out there, you know, and really not to go out and panic and get carried away with it all. But, you know, what we're seeing is and I've got a number of friends that are panic posting as well. So they're taking other people's posts and they're posting on top of that. But their messages are next level. You know, their messages are not the same message that's being transpired in the actual post. They're then posting their opinion and their version of it, but it's gone to the next level of panic. And this is the other thing. There's a virus, sure, there's a virus. And people are panic purchasing, but people are also panic posting. People are getting carried away with the things they're writing, and then it alarms other people, and of course, you know, you have the snowball effect, and you know, next post is just more panic. You got to stop that. We got to stop panic posting as well as panic purchasing. We got to stop it, because people read it and then get all wound up about it, and then get panicked as well, and then they panic. So then we have panic virus, you know, we have panic posting and panic purchasing, you know, so we got to stop all that. Hi Sonia, how are you? Hope all is well. You and Stu and the family are good, and doing all that. Thanks Bushy for the update there, and Keith as well. Yeah, I wasn't sure. That's good on him that he's got out of town and he's way up there doing his own thing. Good on him. Hey, Philip Gilmore, how are you, mate? Hope you're well. Douglas, how are you on the further east side of town? You're in the north. Douglas, you're probably north. You're the northeast side of the things. I saw that Douglas was just on ABC News there the other day in the US, and he's a great resource for what to watch next on Netflix. And really, so yeah, Douglas, hope you're keeping well. Haven't seen you for a few weeks, of course, but hopefully see you soon. Michael's telling everybody that they should start doing meditation available on YouTube, and yep, that's a good idea. Meditation's a really good thing. And hey, how do I post my YouTube link up here, actually, to the YouTube channel? How do I do that while I'm talking to you all? Hey, Annette, thank you, and keep safe. Annette, are you in Dublin or are you in Longford? Where are you at the moment now? Are you, and obviously, Annette's in the medical services as well, so I'm not sure if you're in the hospitals. The hospital's still working and you're getting prepared for things that are about to happen, but please take care. Aaron, yeah, I haven't spoken to Richie properly, but I did send him, when I saw there was a couple of tornadoes heading through Nashville there a couple of weeks ago, and I did send him a message to make sure he was okay, and he replied that he was fine, everything was okay, but obviously the touring work won't be around for him, so he'll be a bit quiet. But is he okay? Is everything good? Have you heard something? Or but I will send him a message later on. But yeah, as I said, he was okay out of the tornadoes, so I got a message back from him that he was fine. Emanuela, how are you? Alison Nolan, how are you? Alison, what's happening? The bars are closed. You're not, well, no, you've still got the bars open in Australia, so that's good. And but what are you up to? There's no rugby, Alison. That's going to upset you, isn't it? That's going to make you very, very upset. And I hope that you are getting through it. And Bill, I'll send you that email. I'm just looking here to see a few people. Andy Berry, where is Andy Berryman? Why is my mate not? Andy's not on these posts. Andy sent me a video. I'll have to have a wee look at it and think. Now, as I'm going live, this is a good question. How do I tell all you? Oh, good. Bushy, please send me those short films and I will seed you my email. I will indeed. Here's an interesting fact. How do you, Paul was just posting earlier on Facebook too, or someone had posted, Russell's store in Botanic Avenue have more than double the price for Dettol to £7, and Asda it's £3, and Russell's at £7. That's really taking the piss, guys, and taking advantage of people. Come on, surely you can do in these times a wee bit more to help the environment and help people. I'm just looking at a post from Chris here on Facebook. Bondi Beach, Australia, is packed. It's chock-a-block today, packed with everybody, families, the lot. What a shock! Come on, guys, you really can't do this. It's a shock. That is today at 5:34 p.m. in Sydney, Australia. Bondi Beach is absolutely chock-a-block. That's ridiculous. That's incredible. Incredible. That's amazing. Some of the posts, you know, and some of the posts that are good on here. I'm just reading on Facebook as I'm talking to you. It's pretty mad. Pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm, you know, and yeah. Oh, there's me, Lotus. Thanks, Lotus. Thanks very much for posting me up there. I appreciate that. Thank you. Listen, I'm going to head off now, guys. I'll be back a wee bit later on. I want to thank you all for being in there and talking and everything. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much indeed. And I didn't realize you could see as much as my shorts and legs and me sitting there as I am. Must line up that camera better next time. Richie's in good form. That's good. Just when you posted there, Aaron, I thought maybe something was wrong or whatever, you know. But no, I said a couple of weeks back from the tornadoes, he told me everything was safe and he was fine, you know. So, and yeah, Bushy's just saying about the Bondi Beach. I just looking at that photograph. That Bondi Beach photograph is just incredible. That's unbelievable. That's mad. Mad as a hat. Um, there are no. I mean, I love the beach, and I wish I was lying there too, but not in this state of the nation, state of the nations, and yeah, pretty bad as. So listen, folks, I'm going to head off now. Have a wonderful rest of the morning, and I'll be back on a little bit later this afternoon to see how everybody is. And I really want to thank everybody for joining me and just being part of the conversation. Thanks very much, guys. Have a safe time, and again, masks, hand sanitizer. Catch you later. Bye.